Pool 3 is where the gameplay and the decks in MarvelSNAP really step up. Today I've got a deck which only requires one Pool 3 card, but is super competitive and can take you all the way to infinite in Pool 3. So stay tuned. Let's go. Hey, Milky here, back again with another video for MarvelSNAP. Today we have an excellent entry deck which can do super well in Pool 3 and take you all the way to infinite. This deck really does only require one Pool 3 card, but I do understand that card unlocks in Pool 3 are completely random and you might not get access to this card until right to the end of Pool 3. With that being said, for players who do unlock Destroyer, you can have an excellent deck when first entering Pool 3 with only one Pool 3 card. Destroy decks are one of my favorite archetypes in MarvelSNAP, and the Destroyer deck is no exception. The Destroyer deck does actually work quite differently than normal Destroy decks because you're really focused on lane lockdown, as well as trying to build up two winning locations throughout the game. So there is some nuance to playing it. There is a lot of considerations in terms of turn sequencing and preparation as you play out the game. We'll go ahead and jump into the deck breakdown now and take a look at some of the cards in more detail. As always, deck below me, core cards over on the other side. And with Destroyer decks, you really do need the core cards. And actually, lots of the cards in the deck are quite core as well. Because Destroyer decks really function a certain way. And for it to be successful, you do need some really key inclusions in the deck. Taking a look at some early game cards, we have Nova. And we also have Bucky Barnes. And the really cool thing about Nova and Bucky Barnes in Destroy decks is you can leave them at open locations. And when I say open locations, I mean locations that you're not going to be protecting. This could be a location that you drop Destroyer on late on in the game. Or it might be another free location where you can just drop these cards, which will, when you do drop Destroyer late on in the game and you destroy everything, it doesn't matter that these cards are getting destroyed because they have beneficial effects once they are destroyed. As with many Destroy decks, Carnage comes in and he's just a great way to add a lot of power to a single location and works well with the other Destroy cards in the deck. Armor really is a key card in this deck because you're looking at protecting the power you have on a location as you're leading up to your big Destroyer plays. What you want to do with armor is you want to make sure that you're surrounding the location with really high power cards that are going to be winning that location for the most part. You protect all of that power with armor, and then you can drop Destroyer safely at the end of the game. Colossus is another great way to push power on the board into an unprotected location. Just like Nova and Bucky, you can kind of play him in those locations which you're not thinking of protecting, and he won't be affected by Destroyer because he can't be destroyed. Some really cool and cheeky interplay between Cosmo and Destroyer. If you can slam Cosmo on a location, he will silence out the on-reveal ability from Destroyer, where you can just have a really good power push to a single location. Now, you just have to be aware that you're doing this in the game and just make sure you're preparing yourself ahead of the final turns in the game for this combo to actually go off. You probably don't want to be doing this every game, especially if you're looking to get the benefit from destroying things on your board, but it can be a great way to negatively affect your opponent if they're using on-reveal effects at a location, while providing a really big benefit when you're actually slamming down Destroyer to kind of silence that out and protect the rest of your board. Killmonger, semi-control card in this deck, as well as a great activator for Nova. He just does well in the current meta because there's still Zoo decks around, there's other 1-drops that you probably want to cancel out. He works well in this deck in a few different ways. Deathlock comes in at a 3-drop. I'm all for having more Destroy in the deck. He has great synergy with cards like Nova and Bucky Barnes, and he provides a really decent power push early on in the game. Warpath's an awesome card. If you can activate his ongoing ability, he represents a 4-cost 9 power card, which is a huge push to an individual location. He doesn't make his way into a ton of decks because most decks are really playing all 3 locations. But with Destroy decks, you can really take advantage of this and often get the full value out of Warpath. Hobgoblin coming in at a 5-drop. He represents a very disruptive card in this deck with -8 power to your opponent's side of the board and also taking up a board slot. You do have to be a little bit strategic in how you play him, and if you can lock out a location, you can go a ways to winning that location. Also, because you're destroying all of your own cards, why not give your opponent something negative? He works really well in this deck. Professor X is one of my favorite control cards in the game, and he works so well in this deck. Not just because he locks down a lane and can lock your opponent out of playing cards there as well, but what he does when he locks down that lane is actually prevents any cards being added or destroyed. His ongoing card says cards can't be added or removed, so any destruction will never happen at that location, which is a really, really good way to protect a location, to lock it down ahead of turn 5, and then make some big plays on turn 6 with Destroyer. Final card rounding out the deck is obviously Destroyer, and he comes in at a massive 16 power. He has an on-reveal effect which says destroy your other cards, but if you can make that work for you and make that work in your advantage, especially if you're able to lock down a winning location earlier on in the game, leading up to turn 6, he can be a massive push of power onto a single location, which can benefit the rest of your board, but also be incredibly hard to counter for other players. All right, that's it. That's our entry-level Destroyer deck for Pool 3. There's a lot of interplay with this deck, and you really have to consider your sequencing and try and think through the turns ahead of time as you build up and as you prepare for your final turns in the game. There are also some other Pool 3 cards which can make this deck even better and even more successful. If you've got access to cards like Daredevil and Green Goblin, they can go a long way to actually making this deck even better for the most part. In saying that, Destroyer decks are awesome in climbing to infinite. They do really, really well on the ladder, and I know it can be something that can be really successful for a lot of people. All right, with all that being said, we're going to jump into some games and see how we go. As always, full collections, Pool 3, let's jump in. All right, game 1. Los Diablos base. Okay. That's fine. I have to see what the other locations are. Drops Ant-Man. We've got a nice combo with Bucky and Carnage here. Could do something a little cheeky with the Danger Room here. But if we don't hit it, could get ourselves in a bit of trouble here. Wonder if this is also going to maybe get destroyed. Let's go ahead and do the Bucky Carnage. I think we've also got a little bit of Ant-Man, which is always nice. Shuri's Lab. It's a big one for Destroyer over there, I'm thinking. So, I guess the question: do we want to take the Killmonger now, or do we want to keep pushing power? If we do draw a Destroyer, we do have a nice we do have a pretty nice Cosmo for that. So we can do this. It goes to 10. It goes into Shang-Chi range though, which I don't love. I'm gonna go ahead and do Deathlock here. Push a bit of power out.
Assemble.
Okay, so we're gonna have priority going into next turn, I believe, and Shuri's Lab gets destroyed. Okay, that's cool. No issue there. We've got okay, so we got pretty much everything we need, depending on what we're doing here. We can Killmonger here. We can also save Killmonger. What's our other play? Cosmo. Preemptively Cosmo. Into a Hobgoblin, maybe. Probably on a Hobgoblin here. So maybe we just Killmonger this turn. It's probably going to be better. Yeah. We've got options next turn. Got the Warpath. So this guy actually could potentially be running a Destroyer himself. That's interesting. So this turn we actually do need to either... This seems like a little bit counterproductive, but maybe it's good. What's our other option here? Could do this. She's probably not going to want to play in here, right? This is no, we need to either play one of these two. Or both of these two. How does this work out for us? I think this is the play. Okay. So actually draw it up there, which is a little cheeky. So we do have options here. We can do we can still do Destroyer, which is going to be our biggest power push. The other option is some Hobgoblin nonsense, but I think this is just the best play because we're going for points difference here. We are going for points difference, so let's lock it in. We'll see if we can get it off. I think he is playing a Destroyer deck as well, which is quite interesting. Captain America there's interesting for sure. So hopefully this doesn't get destroyed. It is a Destroyer deck, so we have a Destroyer off. And we are going to win on points difference, so pretty cheeky. Pretty cheeky win there. We go straight into Subterraneous, so not ideal for us. We do have some nice cards in hand though. We would love something to protect this Warpath if we get it down. And I don't know what we're going to be able to do. Maybe Machine World's going to be our Destroyer location late on. Which makes me think that we're probably only going to be playing Destroyer in there. Okay, Lizard Ant-Man. This is probably a Spectrum deck. Probably a Spectrum deck. We want to hold off on the Killmonger here. So what are we doing next turn? We're so you could Deathlock here, which isn't bad. But Killmonger also feels quite good. We do let him know our game plan early on. Well, not our game plan, but... So I think this is going to be the play. This is almost certainly a Spectrum deck. And we do draw our lifeline in being a protection. So let's go ahead and jam this. I guess we're looking at if we draw Bucky next turn, Bucky's probably the best draw next turn. Bucky's still the best draw next turn. I haven't drawn a rock yet. Ooh, okay. So we definitely do need to get this down. And we just throw a spanner in the works with this guy, huh? We're destroying it anyways, I guess. Maybe we wanna go here. We wanna distract him over here with whatever we're doing. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Trying not to snap these people because I know he's given me more. He drew a lot of rocks, this guy. Okay. I go destroy a mid here. Hopefully he plays into this location. We're feeling pretty good. We could also potentially Hobgoblin here, but Spectrum? Spectrum is not quite enough. Yeah. It was close. It was a close one. It was definitely a close one. Especially with him having the Deathlock over there with the Morph. But I think we played to our outs. It worked out for us. It was a good one. Alright, 2 from 2 so far. Pretty good, pretty good. No early game cards, and Muir Island feels a little bit bad. Shuri's Lab, okay. Could be our target for Destroyer, but we'll have to see. Because everything gets doubled on Shuri's Lab, usually you want to play lots of cards there. Oh, we'll see. Oh, Elysium's gonna make this a fun one for sure. Might be able to do something cheeky with Professor X here. We'll see. A turn 4 Professor X could be pretty spicy if they don't. Okay, so they are playing in there anyways. Okay, so Jessica Jones is going to go up 4. I mean, this is brutal, hey? This is pretty brutal for him. Like, but I can make this play any turn. Like, do I take advantage of this now? That's the question. Because if he plays 2 cards here... Well, he doesn't want to play a card here, right? Because of Jessica Jones. I think this is safer play. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I like this. I like this. Yeah. Yeah. That was the play. No danger on that one. So is this a Black Panther? He might be doing some Black Panther shenanigans. Like, this is going to go to a -16. I think this is going to be the play. I think this is going to be the play. I think this is a ongoing deck. Okay. So I'm glad we did this. We chose well with the Professor X, which I feel pretty good about. I think we still do this. Goes to a 32 power. We potentially get absolutely sniped out here by a Shang-Chi, but a Shang-Chi here doesn't win him this. It only goes to a -4. So I think this is still a safe play. What can he have here? Odin? Odin doesn't do it. Odin procs 1 tiger. Actually, Odin sends it back to us, huh? Man, this is awkward. No, Odin sends it back to us and then sends it back to him. So no, it won't, because it's gonna be a full location. Ooh, tough one. Tough call here. Man, we might have just put ourselves in a spot here with Hobgoblin. I should have known the Odin was coming. I really should have known the Odin was coming. Because right now in this position, we can't win if he has an Odin. I mean, we'll try. We'll see it out. But I think if he has an Odin, we lose. He has an Odin. Yeah, I think he has an Odin. No, it actually goes back because it frees up the space. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? It's going to come here and then it's going to go back. Right? Yeah. I forgot how that worked just for a second there. Wait, and then it procs again with Wong, but it's fine. Okay, so that was a little bit weird. I kind of thought myself around that and then thought myself back into it again. But we end up with a win regardless. Actually, considering even the power... No, we would have been in trouble. We would have been in trouble because Odin would have doubled. That was a wild game. Can we go 4 from 4 here? Or can we go... we did have a tie, so... 3 wins, 0 losses, and a tie. Got a nice hand, though, with Armor, Colossus, Destroyer. And Baxter. Baxter's not too bad for this deck. Pretty good. Pretty good. Ooh, so we do high roll there. Hopefully he doesn't have a way to send that back to us. Alright, what are we thinking? I think we need to try and win Baxter, but do we win this with Destroyer later on? Might be the play, but then I guess we play in... we go for Sakara and Baxter building. Doesn't seem too bad. And I guess if we're doing that, we're doing this. Okay, so no turn 2 for him. Add a 9-power monster here for each player. So essentially it's a 0-0 location at the moment. That's what we're looking at. We can always just silence out our destroyer. Otherwise, because this is going to be a big points difference as well, which is always something to consider. I think we're going to Warpath here. So maybe this is the play. And we're gonna Warpath here. I think this is the play. It's got a bishop. Interesting. This is a really interesting deck this guy's got, for sure. This turn straightforward. Next turn we probably just want to like maybe get a Bucky or something. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. But do kind of want to activate our Warpath. Probably need to, for the most part. So if we're doing that, we probably need to probably do need to destroy a Baxter late on. See if we've got some options there. Bucky is a fantastic draw here if we can get Bucky. Professor X doesn't actually really help us here. So I think this is the play. This does nothing. So hopefully this wins us middle. And then next turn, hopefully 17 wins us left. We can also potentially do a destroyer over here. But, okay, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, Sarah's going to be a tricky one to beat, for sure. Sarah's not easy. There's the Bucky that we needed last turn. If he had Bucky and Bucky Nova and Destroyer here, it would have been GG's. But we go for 17 power here. See if we can get it. See if we can get the dub. Because we probably do need the buff from Baxter. You can play so many cards with Sarah, that's the thing. That's the only thing I'm worried about, but we've gone down this path now. Not too worried about the middle location. Carnage is fine. That's essentially one energy. It's going to snipe out that, which is fine. We were getting rid of that anyways. Mysterio. I don't think Mysterio is going to do it for him. Yeah, we do sneak it out with the Destroyer here. Lots of power coming out from him on turn... Oh no, we do, actually, because of points difference. The 5 Mysterio was there, so cheeky. With all the buffs to Bishop. That was closer than I thought, but I did forget about Mysterio buffing Bishop 3 times. But, yeah, another fun one, actually. Another fun one. All right, so that's a wrap on our Pool 3 Destroyer deck. We had a lot of fun playing this one, as we always do. I really like this deck. It offers flexible options in terms of playing it out. You've really got to think with this one in terms of your ordering and sequencing of turns as you plan and prepare for the final turns in the game. But really enjoyed this one, and if you did enjoy the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Consider liking the video. It does really, really help us out. All right, so that's a wrap, and until the next one, I'll see you then.